Steeler Files. Jeremy is up early with us this morning, and we have a few stories that he's keeping a close eye on. It starts, good morning, Jeremy, with the Cleveland Browns at number 2 in the draft and their quarterback situation. Tell me what you're hearing.
Greeny, good morning. From what I'm hearing, the Cleveland Browns still have interest in Russell Wilson. They're still pursuing that angle, but they have Carson Wentz as a contingency plan. There's some mutual interest there if Wilson falls through. Kirk Cousins would be a prime option for the Browns, I'm told, but he's simply not available right now. So it's uncertain whether they want to really wait that out. That leaves them with the number 2 overall pick. There is love in that building for both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. But the feeling around the league is the Titans could go Ward. That leaves them with Sanders, but I'm told the Browns do like his processing speed, mental game at the line of scrimmage.
So the overwhelming reaction I'm getting in mock drafts, again, and they don't know what teams are going to do, but their projection is that Ward is going to go 1. And every mock I see, most of them anyway, have the Browns bypassing a quarterback at 2, and then maybe the Giants taking Shedeur Sanders at 3. If you're the Browns, you going veteran or are you taking a quarterback in the draft?
I'm taking the quarterback. I think to me, it's about the rookie contract. Like, this whole Deshaun Watson thing is lost. It's over with. I think the Browns got to start looking towards the future. That's why I really never understood, like, them re-signing Myles Garrett. It's like, what is he going to do, for the Cleveland Browns, now and move forward. But I just think the rookie contract and getting a young signal caller in the mix over there.
Let me get to the next one here. Jeremy, the Giants, of course, are sitting there at 3. They don't have a quarterback. What are they looking at doing?
Well, Greeny, the people I've talked to around the league believe that the Giants could pivot off Aaron Rodgers if they haven't already. I talked to somebody with the team who said, we started working contingency plans the moment we started bringing in free agents for visits. That's Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston. So one of those 3 certainly could be a Giant. I'm told Russell Wilson, dating back to the Super Bowl, has looked at the Giants as a very viable option for him.
Bart, you host a radio talk show in New York. What are your thoughts on Rodgers to the Giants at 3, the quarterback situation in general?
Well, we know that Aaron Rodgers' first choice has to be anybody but the Giants with their situation, what their schedule is next year. That's why it kind of really doesn't matter. They don't need just one quarterback. They need 2. Because Danny DeVito isn't somebody that you're going to have as your backup.
Tommy
as well.
DeVito, but
yes. Close enough.
Yes.
Tommy DeVito. But, I think when you look at Russell Wilson, it makes some sense if he's going to mentor a young quarterback. I think they may be in a situation where they have to draft one and bring in a veteran to be able to try and be a leader for that guy and show him how to be a professional.
The question is Shedeur Sanders going to be there for them at 3 when they pick? And finally, Jeremy, the Steelers are also a team that are very much in the quarterback conversation. We keep talking about Aaron there. What are you hearing from Pittsburgh?
Greeny, I'm hearing the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a position to wait on Aaron Rodgers. Talking to people around the league, they believe Pittsburgh is the most likely to wait this out. They have a standing offer out to Rodgers, and they already have their contingency plan in the building. And Mason Rudolph, a quarterback they drafted and developed over the years, they can play him in a pinch, but they're not looking at a lot of other options right now. It seems to be Rodgers or bust for Pittsburgh.
So we'll see if that winds up happening. I wanted to play for the guys here this soundbite that we came across yesterday. There are a lot of questions about who the quarterback is going to be, but the issues in Pittsburgh seem to be bigger than just the quarterback. Former Steeler running back Najee Harris, now a Charger, shed some light into just how much of a mess that offense has felt like. Listen.
I'm just trying to look for people to pick their brain off of, and it was just defensive guys. So I'll go to the defensive guys to talk to them, but it wouldn't be too much they could tell me about an offensive thing. Through my years, I learned a lot that, only I learned firsthand. And I feel like here, we got a lot of veterans that I could learn even more stuff from. It was an interesting year there. I'll just say that.
All right. So generally speaking, he was talking about how there wasn't much in place on the offensive side that he could learn as a young player. Well, why are you making that face?
You ungrateful dude. Listen, how fortunate is it for you to be in the playoffs every year of your career? That doesn't just happen. And when he leaves, sometimes you realize how good you had it. Now, he's going to a place that maybe have their future quarterback, but it's going to be the similar philosophy as, the Chargers are trying to build their team with bringing over Mekhi Becton to be a team that's going to base on the run game and not really throw a lot, similar and play great defense. That's how Harbaugh builds his team, similar to how Mike Tomlin built his team.
I understand, but I think there's been a lot of question about the offensive coaching in Pittsburgh. Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator for a lot of the time that he's talking about the quarterback play, all that kind of stuff. just because maybe he shouldn't say it doesn't mean he isn't right.
I think he would taking a shot at Mike Tomlin without calling out his name.
Right.
I mean, when you're talking about, the makeup of the offense, who as a young guy, who do you go seek out? Doesn't that directly go back to the head coach? Ultimately, the head coach is, partly responsible for the personnel that's on the team. Well, and so that, to me, I heard that, I'm like, okay, to me, that's a shot at Mike Tomlin.
Well, the biggest indictment on Mike Tomlin and why they find themselves in this situation is the fact that they decided to draft Kenny Pickett. And, it wasn't a draft that they needed a quarterback, and they waited too long, much like the Giants, to move away from a franchise quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger, and they didn't prepare for his exit. So the Kenny Pickett pick is really what that has him behind the 8 ball. Kenny Pickett will be in his 4th season this year. He's already on his 3rd football team now that he's with the Cleveland Browns. When you miss at the quarterback position, it sets you back, especially in that division that has Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson.
Jeremy, how about what are your thoughts here?
This is why teams that have a quarterback who's in the top half of the league pay them $50, $60 million, whatever they want, because life in the middle is rough. The Pittsburgh Steelers have experienced that since Ben Roethlisberger left. They can't find a solution, but my sense is they will go heavy on the draft. They will draft a quarterback high, if not this year, then next year, because Aaron Rodgers clearly is a one-year bridge.
Well, they're sitting at 21. Again, assuming they get Rodgers, which I think is the likeliest scenario here, but I guess there's no way to know that.
I mean, listen, with Kirk Cousins, and Atlanta can say whatever they want. The reality is they got the 32nd most salary cap space there, minus $13 million for our salary cap space. They have to find a way to do something. They can find a team that can take on some of that salary. Maybe Kirk Cousins to Cleveland, Kirk Cousins to Pittsburgh could be at least a bargaining chip or leverage so that they can make Aaron Rodgers have to make a decision.
Again, I don't know what the weight is. If you're Aaron Rodgers, what are y'all? It's either
waiting on Cleveland.
Pittsburgh, either Pittsburgh or retire. And I don't get the sense that Aaron Rodgers want to retire.
No, I don't think he wants to retire either. I think he'll play somewhere next year. Again, I think the likeliest scenario is that somewhere is Pittsburgh. Fowler outstanding, the Fowler 5. All right, they are the words that made him famous, and he was his teammate when he said them. And so, Bart, I am told you have things on to get off your chest, things you can't wait.
Greeny, I tried to get here Monday. That's how pissed off I was. I am tired of the disrespect laid at the feet of the defensive players. It's time to set the record straight, and I got a lot of stuff to say.
So who does it start with?
It starts with Joe Burrow, a.k.a. Macaulay Culkin. Listen, we all love the beautiful story. Listen to this. Oh, I love you so much. Get a sack. And tell you what, you got to get the ball back. If one thing the Super Bowl taught us is that offense wins games, defense wins championships. While he's showing all the love to his brothers there, he's spitting in the face of Trey Henderson because he should be advocating for him. And what